Now, there are many different topics I could be talking about when it comes to music. The Ye Dollar Sign album released, the Cardi Aiden Ross situation is pretty funny, and I could even talk a little bit about the Megan and Nicki beef. But I don't want to really talk about that. Instead, I want to talk about one of the best rappers that keeps getting robbed. The reason I made this video though was because Utopia was never given a Grammy. Let me explain where it all started. Travis Scott was really big, with Travis getting 500,000 album sales from Astroworld. That's very impressive for someone's third studio album. And afterwards, it just seemed like he was going upwards from here. But then something weird happened. When the 2019 Grammys came around, Travis Scott was nominated, but he never won. And the one that actually won over him was Cardi B's Invasion of Privacy, which I didn't know she made albums. I actually just thought she made singles. And I actually heard this album over just to see if it was better than Astroworld. Spoilers, it isn't, but I still have some pretty good songs. I do like Drip, Like It, uh, Barty Cardi, I Do, Best Life. These are pretty good songs, but they're not beating Astroworld. Astroworld has way better songs, from No Bystanders to Sicko Mode. Even 5% Tint, I like this one. My favorite one is Yasmite. I honestly don't know why Astroworld didn't win, but after this, it started to get worse afterward. You see, during the tour, there was actually some really bad maintenance going on during it, and it eventually started to spiral out of control, eventually leaving multiple people wounded and 8 people dead. What happened, you may ask? Well, first of all, you usually have gates and security guards that protect you from the stage to keep things flowing and steady, but just started rushing without any kind of control, making a whole sea of people getting crushed under their boots. In fact, that's how some of them actually died. Some of them were so swished into one area they couldn't breathe, suffocating them to death. This was forever going to be a stain in Travis's legacy. But the thing was, there were still a lot of lawyers that sued him. But at least he apologized, right?
I just want to send out prayers to the ones that was lost last night. We're actually working right now to identify the families.
Okay, so a lot of people didn't really like how Travis handled the entire situation. They kept saying that he could have helped them. He kept it going despite the fact that people were screaming for help. But I feel like at this time, people started missing the point. Concerts are super loud, and not only do you have speakers next to you, but you also have an entire microphone you're speaking into to make your voice louder. And I'm sure when Travis saw those sea of people, he didn't see anyone getting hurt. I did see that one video with someone being in a stretcher and he just kept singing, but he probably didn't see that. Even before I was a Travis fan, I defended him because it feels so unfair to just assume that he wanted this to happen. I know music artists aren't the best people in the world. I mean, look at Kanye West. But the thing about Travis is that he's not like that at all. I'm sure he would have done something if he could have. But because of this incident, 2 years passed without an actual album. He was in features, but he didn't really go out and do his own stuff anymore. And it didn't seem like anything was going to release until Utopia. Now, there were hints of Utopia coming out, with a lot of people very hyped for its release. It should have been released a long time ago, but now that it was released 2 years later, it actually gained a lot more hype, with him being seen with a briefcase and everything. And he was even seen with this Utopia briefcase with a security guard, which actually sells for. There's actually a lot cheaper than this. There's like a $200 one, a $300 one, but I just wanted to see how ridiculous they could get. But that wasn't the only marketing campaign he had. He also had a bunch of billboards around the place. I didn't get to see any, but I did see some people posting them online. And from what I could see, they look really, really detailed. Compared to other album billboards, you usually don't see them very often, or I don't usually see them very often because I don't drive. I don't even think people really use billboards like that anymore, but Travis went all out. The marketing, the hype, it was all there. People were ready to just throw their money at this project. And eventually, they all did. Because the streams for Utopia were insane. Utopia was hype. So much hype that it got millions of streams on YouTube, Spotify, anywhere you can find this. and even got its spot in the top 200 as number 1. This was meant to be album of the year. Popular songs are Meltdown and Fiend, and I do like these songs, but I don't necessarily really mess with Meltdown. I think it's not as good as Sicko Mode, and I think it's a lot slower. I do like some of the bars Travis screams out, but overall it's okay. My favorite song on the album is definitely Telekinesis. SZA and Future are a weird combination, but they work. So yeah, that was basically Utopia. It was one of the best album rollouts of the entire year. If you put Business is Business, Pink Tape, and Gunna's album all together, it would not compare to what Utopia did. It did the impossible and basically made people excited for music. I heard stories of people just wanting to listen to the album because of all of the hype behind it. Hype is a very powerful weapon when you're using some marketing tactics, and Utopia is full on proof. So then, why did it lose? Yeah, let's get to that. He was actually nominated for the award, and he was in the rap category, but he wasn't the winner. And what ended up winning was Killer Mike's Scientists and Engineers. Now, from a Grammy standpoint, I can see the single that Travis pulled out was pretty bad. I'm not gonna lie. When I first heard K-pop, I was scared for the future of this album because it was so mid. I thought that it would emit this kind of midness from every other song. I was scared. I was quaking my boots. I thought it was gonna flop but it ended up being okay. But with Killer Mike, his single was Scientists and Engineers, which had Andre 3000 and Future. Now, Andre 3000, if you don't know, is the Outcast guy. He made Hey Ya and all that. And if you don't know anything about him, he doesn't make music unless he has something to say. The only reason he was in Donda with Kanye West was because he had something to say. He was mourning for his mother. But when it comes to Scientists and Engineers, he just sort of went on because he liked the woman's voice. I'm not joking. That is literally the only reason.
He called, he was like, Kill. Like, I don't know about the song, man. We just got a good rap record, man. And then Cuz was like, you sent him to find the record? I was like, nah. I sent it over with Aaron's Hook and stuff. He hit back with, yeah, you got the record. Who is that?
And the song itself was actually great. His alliteration and rhyme scheme is just really, really cool. And then there's Future. I mean, his Future. You're probably gonna get a Grammy with him just breathing if you can. Now, this song is clearly better than K-pop, but I feel like this was still a robbery. Now, if you actually look at the track list for Michael, it's not that bad. There's High and Holy, there's Down by the Law, there's Run, Motherless. There's a lot of really good songs here. And with a mixture of gospel music in there, which I like myself, of course it's going to sound good. But is it better than Utopia? Now that the hype's died down for the album, I kind of have to say it's a contender. I'm not really ready to admit that Michael is better than Utopia, but Utopia does have some really good songs. But where most of the songs from Utopia are more on Travis's perspective and how he feels on everything, Michael is about that too, but it's more about the black community as in general. It even has a song about people who have drug withdrawals. So it clearly has a lot more heart put into it and thought. But I think the Grammys just really hate Travis. I know there's a lot of other rappers that don't have a Grammy, but it's fine. Even if Travis doesn't get a Grammy, I think he should just focus on making better music. Because if he's just doing this to chase a Grammy, what happens if he wins one? Will he even have the passion to make more music? I'm not saying he shouldn't get a Grammy, but if he ever gets one, I just hope his quality doesn't change. Also, before I go, I just want to share another tidbit of information. When Travis Scott was in the middle of a Circus Maximus concert, he accidentally caused an earthquake. Well, it wasn't really an earthquake, it was really his fans just jumping around vigorously, emulating the effect of an earthquake. It didn't damage anything from what I could tell, but it was just really interesting. It's interesting how many fans Travis actually has. But yeah, that's what I really wanted to talk about, and I thank you for watching.